Castlevania Season 2 has arrived and it is amazing. We have the Countess, we have Drolta, we have Orlox, some of the best animation that I've seen from Netflix. We get ALUCARD, we get Ricker, and many, many more. Maria goes demon time and then she comes back summoning dragons, wolves, and all types of full out chaos. Listen to the review, tell me what you think because we are coming in hot with Season 2, Castlevania Nocturne. Let's get into it. Not only does Season 2 have the momentum that's riding in from Season 1, it blows it past away. As someone who grew up playing the old school Castlevania games on Sega, your boy's been around and this series hits on every single nostalgic note and we are here for it. As we jump back in with Alucard in episode 1, fittingly, a living legend is its title. He's dropping people left and right and he is put into a mysterious Egyptian-inspired setting. No time wasted, being that he's Dracula's son, he puts on a clinic of vampire slaying, showing us why he's there and why he's one of the coldest to ever do it. The fight choreography is surgical, smooth, and it sets the tone. Alucard is back and he's not here to play in the beginning of Season 2 of Castlevania. And as we go through the entire series, we are finally reunited with Belmont and the rest of his crew. So we're going to do a quick recap. Still reeling in from the fallout of last season's battle against good versus evil, Belmont finds himself in a moral crossword. Alucard wants him to travel to Paris to essentially wipe out the rising vampire threat, including the hardest character in this whole entire series, Elizabeth, aka the Countess. Later on, we start to revisit Tara, who is Maria's mother and the wife of now the most infamous priest. If you see my previous reviews, you know the priest sacrificed all of humanity in a delusional attempt to save himself. So his wife hates him and now his daughter does. Maria, his daughter, her fury is more than justified. Tara, on the other hand, she is struggling with the fact that now she is a vampire, but we know that vampires have that need, and that need is to feed. Her first victim is a park goer, and of course, our guy Orlox, he is there to nudge her over the edge to watch her feeding frenzy commence. Back to the the priest. Now we all know that Abbott is falling deeper and deeper into madness. He's still trying to cling on to power, and now he is armed with gremlin demons gifted by Elizabeth. But of course it's a double-edged sword, and that condition is she will call him and he has to serve her immediately. That deal comes full circle whenever Drolta, Elizabeth's top soldier from Season 1, is resurrected. And now she is rebirthed into something more dangerous. She is the super soldier of a super vampire who pledges her loyalty to the one true Countess. And that's all in episode 1 and 2. So as we're diving into Drolta's origin, it gives you a little backstory. So she's been around since 1193 and she's in Egypt. There's some type of connection between Elizabeth and Drolta that spans over centuries, but we'll get into that later. So Drolta with her new body, aka version 2, she is terrifying, and the title of episode 2 is the Angel of Death. So now that she has been reincarnated, she can walk in the sunlight, making her the real Blade. We're also introducing to Just Belmont. He's back, and you know his powers are sitting there dormant. But he's an older figure in the Belmont line who has once again saved Ricker at the bar. Y'all should remember that from Season 1. But these breadcrumbs of a backstory help ground the series in its lore while connecting all the dots between the 2 to 3 different generations. And it's all over the place. But as we go back to Tara and Maria, they finally have their post-transformational conversation. It's an emotional and necessary moment, but it's clear that Tara is slowly planting seeds which may lead to a down spiral and may lead Maria to a deeper, darker path. And by episode 3, we learn a little bit more about those attempts. One of the attempts comes from Drolta's failed attempt to build her undead army in her Genesis. Despite her power, her recruits lack the true hatred that she had. She stumbles upon an ancient insignia, the same one that she gifted to the Countess. The imagery is biblical, the symbolism is crazy, and the lambs and the blood-stained crosses are just too much. She brands Orlock with this symbol on her face. She also has that throughout the entire town. And now with Drolta's new body, she's embraced her new form and she is full on demon time, walking amongst the day and slaughtering things in the night. Everything, every second. She's wiping out the National Guard, but don't worry, the Countess plays 4 steps ahead. With Abbott in her back pocket, he makes sure that all of the slain National Guards return from the dead into night creatures. The visuals in this episode are breathtaking. It's very gritty but cinematic, and this will keep you locked in. That's essentially the recap of all the characters, but as we go deeper into Maria, she is growing evil, she is going darker. Rightfully so, due to what her dad had put her through, and now that her mom is a vampire, so I can't knock her on that. But Tara seems to be unlocking something real deep and dark inside of her daughter, something very dangerous. Maria starts summoning monsters from other realms, other dimensions. She is on some Doctor Strange action. What she is doing is opening different portals to let these different creatures out. Just Belmont, he arrives and he is surprised to see how crazy and how manipulative Tara is. But just when it seems like she's lost control, Tara looks to him and spears her life. So the question lingers, is she truly evil, or is Tara just a mother trying to protect her daughter? Meanwhile, all this is happening in the background. That we go to fast forward to Paris. Annette, she is experiencing this intense trance-like visions. She's being pulled into something greater, maybe an alternate dimension. We're really not sure at the time, but there's a sense that her story is about to collide with Drolta and Erzsébet from her backstory being from Egypt. And then once we get to episode 4, it takes off. We see the origin of the Countess, how evil she is. Back in the 1600s, she was going to be executed, and in 1614, she is turned to full darkness because of her number one soldier, Drolta. But Maria, she reaches her breaking point. All of this comes to a peak because she lets the hate, the rage, and the summoning of a massive dragon that comes in and he Game of Thrones and gets burnt to a crisp. The scene is pure chaos, but it's also emotional. Just is there again. He is the Belmont, he is the leader, and he is hinting at a soft spot for Miss Maria. It's ironic because right here we have the turn of Maria as a character. She goes from hate and having all this inside of her, but once she kills her father, she turns a path and she is on the way to something better, along with just helping her, leading her, guiding her, showing her a little bit of love as a true father figure. This turns around and this will play dividends in the episodes to come. But now that the stage is set, we have ALUCARD, Annette, Richard. They're finally going to square off against Drolta, who's back from the dead on her version number 2. But the real question is whether Tara realizes the full extent of the darkness inside of Maria. She has a little smirk, and that pays a lot. And as we do a little bit more of the backstory, we are back in 1789, and Erzsébet is more powerful than ever. She has observed centuries of blood and hate and pain, and she is truly becoming something monstrous. As Maria continues to wrestle with her inner darkness, even though she's on the turning point, she needs that little push to make her come full circle. And just when you think the series might take a breath, episode 5 hits you with everybody's favorite Eduardo singing his little bitty heart out, straight Frank Ocean style. And as this buildup continues to grow and grow and grow like a tsunami, we see ALUCARD in his peak form. His fights are brutal, they're beautiful, the animation is stunning, and it's truly satisfying. ALUCARD's him. Blade wishes he had this type of finesse with a sword. And now Maria, gaining control of her powers, choosing to do good rather than evil, is ready to battle. And we see that. Episode 6, it is an emotional roller coaster. Belmont, he starts to reflect on his legacy. ALUCARD reminds him that the sarcasm that the Belmonts have run generations deep. And while Annette is in the other world trying to awaken Sekhmet, the third soul, the soul that the Countess, the soul that Drolta wants, this episode is slowly but surely tying everything together. All the arcs coming together, and we're building tension for what will be a super crazy explosive finale. And then we get it early on episode 7. Netflix knew exactly what they were doing because they blew the entire budget on episode 7. The final battle is relentless. Erzsébet transformed into a feline demonic form after consuming a heart. That's right, she consumed a heart from an Egyptian goddess, and it turns her crazy. ALUCARD, Ricker, Just, Annette, Maria, everyone is throwing down. Every single scene is packed with intense magic, elemental chaos, and a cinematic delivery that is Grammy worthy. It's easily one of the best fight scenes in the entire Castlevania universe. I'm talking the video game. I'm talking the original Castlevania that came out in 2017. This fight sequence and battle scene tops all of it. Meanwhile, we get the long-awaited rematch. I'm talking ALUCARD versus Drolta, and they are going blow for blow until the sneaky little snake Orlok steps in to help finish it off. But in a devastating twist, his lover, Mizrak, is mortally wounded. Orlac then, with Drolta on her heels, waiting to give the final blow, takes off and runs over to his sweet lover boy. A bittersweet yet predictable ending. And then the finale, the craziest twist that I did not see coming. Drolta, after she limped away from almost being killed by Orlac, sweeps in after one of the most epic battles in the Castlevania universe. As her number one soldier, as her general, she swoops in and picks up Erzsébet. And Erzsébet thinks that she is off to safety, but she's not. Drolta understands that she is just a pawn in her game plan. So what does she do with the wounded Erzsébet? She drinks her blood, absorbs the two deity souls, and declares herself the true goddess Sekhmet. Super power move, super out of left field. Erzsébet never stood a chance or saw it coming. The episode's tone is perfect pitch. It's a gothic, dark, brutal, unrelenting scene. The entire time the battles are going on, the entire time that Drolta is flying through the sky, the blood moon, the colors, the camera work, it all adds weight to this season's finale. And in the final moments, there is a great battle that is on the precipice to set this on fire. But Drolta running around in her true ultimate demonic form is the threat. ALUCARD might need to channel in his father, the true darkness, Mr. Dracula himself. And just as we are ready for the climax, Netflix pulls the e-brake. Annette's goddess seal from Drolta grabs her and ends the threat. It is very, very anticlimactic. She grabs a hold of her wrist, absorbs both souls, and they both die. Or do they? And as you will have it, after such an intense ride, the epilogue shows the crew parting ways. ALUCARD going off into parts unknown. Annette and Richard, with that slight little love interest, they head off to fight more battles on behalf of her and her people in the Egyptian land. Maria, she is continuing to learn about her strength. She is continuing the path of good under Just's guidance. It's not the most perfect ending, but hey, we got it. Also, it was a little rushed, but overall, it's incredible. Way better than season 1. Way better. Castlevania season 2 is smart, violent, emotionally grounded, and visually gorgeous. If season 1 laid the groundwork, season 2 built a cathedral on top of it and painted it with blood. I was very impressed. The animation at sometimes could have been a little bit better. It reminded me of a Josuke type of artwork. It's not bad. It works for them and it works for the guys at Netflix, but really did enjoy it. I finished this off in 2.5 days. I went from rating this a 6.1 from season 1 all the way up to a 7.5. It's a sensational anime. They wrote it very well and they delivered. I just wish that the ending was a little bit better. But tell me what you think about season 2 of Castlevania Nocturne. Comment below and I'll see you on the next one.